Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going well. Unfortunately, Stephen can't call in this morning. He's tied up in a meeting. So.
Yep, State Representative Stephen Meeks is tied up in a meeting and cannot call in. I thought we were the top of the list of priorities when it comes to... I guess not.
The good news is they got that tort reform passed.
Yeah, they
to
did.
The House and the Senate, so now it goes to the governor's desk for signature. So that was a big priority for the governor to get that passed, and it's passed. So that was the good news over the weekend. So I look forward to hearing from Blake and Buddy DeLuch later this week.
Yeah, I'm trying to protect the small businesses out there from frivolous lawsuits, is what they've been called.
I'm telling you,
against
some
businesses.
Some of those stores are nightmares.
I know they are, aren't they?
I mean, the businesses are closed and they still get sued and have to pay out millions of dollars. I mean, there's a story about Six Flags. Their park was closed. There was some guy wrecked in that parking lot and still sued them and got like a $5 million payment. So there's craziness out there. So I can see why they wanted something done. So it's just, the more you hear about these crazy frivolous lawsuits, it's absurd.
And the thing about it is you got jurors out there who award these payments. I mean, you got jurors. What are they thinking, you know?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. So that's some of the tort reform there. But, you know, you see these attorney ads on television, I mean, just about back to back to back. And people just see all that and they think that they can sue any time and every time and just goes from there.
As they say, you can sue a ham sandwich.
Sue a ham sandwich. I'm going to sue you a ham sandwich.
You can sue anybody, you know. You can sue a ham, you know. It's crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. So we'll see what happens with the tort reform there and see if it, once the governor signs it, what impact it has on these so-called frivolous lawsuits throughout the state of Georgia.
Speaking of crazy. How in the world is Larry Jenkins getting a third trial? That's crazy. That was sad watching that down there Friday in Glenn County courtroom. In fact, he's getting a third trial. It's just unreal. Talking to former officers that are involved in that. I mean, it's not like they got another suspect. It's not like they're saying somebody else did it. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Just some technical stuff.
Yeah, it's just sad, but
putting the Ralston family all through this again.
I keep hearing Stetson in the back of my mind. In time, memories fade, evidence gets lost, witnesses die. As soon as there ain't no case, apparently that's the strategy. You know, 50 years later.
50 years later,
they're gonna try it again.
It's not quite 50 years later.
He's 50 years later.
He's 50. It's about 30 years later.
30 years later.
30 years later. Yeah, a little over 30 years later.
That was just a sad. I still remember that. Like it was, you know, that laundromat was down there. If you know where Stuckey's Cleaners is, it was right across the street from there, right downtown.
Yep.
That was just a sad story.
Very sad story.
15-year-old kid shot, and now they're saying that the guy that did the autopsy, he's dead. They can't use any of the. I don't see why they couldn't use his evidence that has been documented in files. It's not hearsay. It's filed. They had a lady testify that she would come to the same conclusion. They were yelling, "That's hearsay." They can't say. I don't know.
It's not hearsay. You know, it's not like the guy said it and didn't keep notes and write down stuff.
It was
but
absurd.
Attorneys will say any of that stuff. They're there to protect their clients, and they'll say anything and everything.
It's just sad. I don't call it. I mean, if that's justice. Justice system needs overhauled. I feel sorry for that Ralston family down there.
And not only did one jury find him guilty, two juries did in the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, he had two trials, one in 2014, one in 95. So
that's right. It was 2014, not 2009. One in 2014. They had to redo it. You think that in both of those trials and all these years that this stuff would have come up during that time period.
Yeah, that's what
the lawyers the first time and the lawyers the second time.
If there's a violation, you thought they would have found it in the first trial. So
and if not there, the second trial.
But now we're going for a third trial. So we'll see how
putting the Ralston family all through this again.
Right.
You know,
bringing up all those memories and all that.
Yeah.
Sad. It was just a tragic event. So.
Very tragic. Very tragic. I just moved back to Jesup in May of the previous year, and I knew the Ralstons very well. I grew up next to Terry, and it was just and I knew the Carters very well, and it was just a very sad event for that January 1993.
Just sad story.
Yeah.
Very sad. Like I said, he's getting a third trial. The jury selection starts Monday, April 7th, down in Glenn County's courthouse. in front of Judge Stephen Scarlett. Get to see Judge Scarlett. And I tell people all the time we've got excellent judges in this circuit. So
Superior Court judges are top notch.
Yeah, he's one of them. So, but it was just a strange day Friday, seeing all those emotions. I said they're throwing everything. They're trying to throw everything out.
Oh yeah,
I was just shocked that they can't use the fact that he took him to the murder scene and they found Terry's purse. I mean,
why can't they use that?
I don't know. They threw it out. I don't know why.
It wasn't thrown out in the first trial. It wasn't thrown out in the second trial.
But apparently they can't.
Are they trying to say that his rights weren't read to him before he said this is where it's at? I mean, you really can't do anything or have any testimony unless you're reading their rights first and they agree to it.
I don't know. All I know is that.
But you think that would have happened in the first and especially the second trial in 2014 because a lot of questions were raised at that time.
Right.
I don't know, Bob. I just know what has been reported, so I don't know all the inside facts. And you relayed a lot of stuff that we didn't know when you went to the hearing there last Friday.
This past Friday.
Yeah.
Sad.
So you had to leave Brunswick and then drive up to Savannah.
Right.
Yeah, to do the ball game. Yeah, that was a great victory for Wayne County Varsity baseball team.
Yeah, big win. I said hats off to Cade Lynn and Tate Altman. They pitched well. Rowan Blant with another home run, second home run in 2 days, and Deacon had a big triple. So good ball game, big crowd. Saying that's right in full force.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody stopped me in church, said they're going to send us what I need for that no-nats I got. That didn't work too good.
No-nats didn't work. You got to get some of the strong stuff.
Yeah, this man in church stopped me. He said, "Man, I heard you talking about the saying that. I live on the coast, so I'm going to text you what you need." So
yeah, I'd love to know what that is.
Hopefully he'll send it. So people, man, those things were out in full force Friday. Good gosh, thank goodness when the sun went down, it got chilly. Apparently, they don't like cold.
They don't like cold weather. They
were gone.
They go hide.
But before the sun went down, man, they were out in full force Friday.
Oh, I've been over there during that time period, having to do some outdoor activities,
I mean,
and it's just miserable.
When you get home, you got them in your hair.
You got to take a shower.
That's
when
what I'm saying.
You cannot go to bed without going because there's going to be some somewhere you didn't know was there.
Goodness,
I didn't know gnats could get there. They can get anywhere.
Those things are aggravating.
Yes, they are. I've got gnats where I live, but they're not biting kind. They're just the kind that get in your face and aggravate the turkey out of you.
I still love the ladies' answer in Brunswick. I went to Brunswick. They were bad. As soon as you got out of the parking lot, the lady was taking up tickets. I said, "Ma'am, how do y'all deal with these things?" She said, "You want to know the truth?" I said, "Yeah, tell me the truth." She said, "We stay inside a lot." I still remember that. So I guess that's what they do down there.
Yeah, you have to stay inside a lot. You can go over to the beach. Usually they're not on the beach because you got that ocean breeze blowing in. They're going to be on the other side of the dunes. They're going to be on the land side of the dunes, but not going to be on the ocean side of the dunes usually. And that's what makes it, laying on the beach so bearable.
It's crazy. And congrats to Donnie Ray, $10,000 winner.
10,000. How many tickets did he buy?
That's a good question. I do not know that.
You don't know that?
I think there were several on it, but I don't think he bought that many.
Not many?
But
okay.
It came down to the final five, and they couldn't find one person who had on his ticket. He didn't want to split, so they just keep on rolling. Poor Ralph, he was sitting there hoping he's going to get $2,000, but that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. So you had one guy you couldn't get a hold of, and he put on his tickets, do not split.
So they just kept on rolling.
Donnie got lucky.
Donnie.
Way to go, Donnie Ray.
Yeah, Donnie Ray, $10,000 winner. Yeah.
Well, great.
Yeah, he was a happy camper.
I bet he was. I was a grin ear to ear, I imagine. Looking at that check. All right.
That's right. It's a nice payday. So congrats to Donnie Ray, $10,000 winner.
Yeah. It was sad news last week when George Foreman died. He was only 76, and one of the great powerful boxers of all times, And there was, of course, his career is known for the rope-a-dope in Africa when Muhammad Ali let him beat on him for like 6 or 7 rounds, and then he gave out, and then Ali came back and won. But he destroyed George Foreman. I mean, just destroyed George and other boxers. His really big downfall there was that one fight against Muhammad Ali.
Did you ever buy a George Foreman grill?
No, never bought a George Foreman grill.
That's what it's made.
I mean, millions were sold.
That's what I'm saying. He sold a pile of grills.
And he had other.
George Foreman Grill.
He became this. Back then he was very focused. All right, but as he came older, he became
just a lovable
guy. Big grin on his face, lovable. You liked him, and stuff like that. And you'd see him on the TV ads, and you wanted to buy his product because you liked him so much, But a lot of George Foreman grills were sold. But he was only 76. Dadgummit, that was, so. But he was a great boxer. And then, of course, most people know him for his sales pitches on all the different products that he sold during the years.
Okay, it was a surprise. Not many,
Yeah.
Didn't know he was ill.
Yep. So Wayne County Yellow Jacket varsity baseball team gets back in action tomorrow. Is that right?
Right. We got New Hampstead this week, but they got a non-region game stuck in there Wednesday at home against Glen Academy. So it's a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday schedule again with the region, and then Wednesday's a non-region game at home against Glen Academy. So 4 games this week.
I know, 4 games this week, and it's interesting that you'd be playing in 3 region games, but you throw another game in there. You think you want the guys to rest today, but we're playing Glen Academy on Wednesday, and it's the same thing for next week. We're playing New Hampstead. We're playing. No, we're not. What are we doing next week? Warner Robins. We're playing Warner Robins next week, but we start off on the 1st. We have. Apparently, the week of the 1st, we only have 1 game, and that's on Tuesday against Jeff Davis.
Right.
Now, is that
it's spring
is
break.
that spring break?
I believe it is spring break.
Yeah, that's spring break.
Right.
That's the reason we probably only have 1 game.
Right.
No, spring holidays is the 7th through the 11th. 7th through the 11th is spring holidays here. Looking at the high school calendar here. So the week of the 1st, they have 1 game, and that's against Jeff Davis in Hazelhurst on that Tuesday. And then they don't play again until the following week on the 8th, which is spring break. So they're playing 3 games against Warner Robins the week of a spring break. So no spring break for the baseball players. And only 1 game the week before that.
That's normally the way it is. They normally play during spring break.
Okay.
But playing New Hampstead and playing Warner Robins, it is kind of like a break. They're not very good.
All right. So Wayne County back in action tomorrow, taking on New Hampstead in Savannah.
The Ware County series is going to be the series.
Ware County series is the series, the last 3 games of the year.
That's going to determine who gets
the
first
14th,
and second.
15th, and 17th. Yeah.
Right. Perry might be the best 0-6 region team in the state of Georgia. I mean, it's hard to believe. I mean, they're pretty darn good, especially that left-handed pitcher that's going to where he's going.
Georgia,
yeah, committed to Georgia right now. But I mean, it's hard to believe they've got a good baseball team, but they're 0-6 in the region play.
Well, they lost 3 to us, and they lost 3 to Ware County, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it looks like if everything goes as you think, it's going to come down to the Ware County series that last week there against the Gators on the 14th, 15th, and 17th to determine the region champ.
And the good news, we got 2 of those 3 games at home, so that's a good thing.
Good. All right. Jesup, Waycross, Jesup.
Ware still has to play BC too, so we'll see how that series goes.
All right.
But we're through the 2 toughest, like I said, Ware's, and I said, I think it's come down to us and Ware for first and second, but it'll be determined in that last week of the season.
Right.
New Hampstead and Warner Robins aren't a factor. It's a 4-team region between BC, Ware, Perry, and Wayne. So it'll shake up 1 through 4 that way. So Perry, despite being 0-6, they're still going to state playoffs.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Because the first 4 in the region go, right?
Top 4 go. Yeah.
Top 4 go.
They'll beat Warner Robins. They'll beat New Hampstead. So, and they still have to play BC, so we'll see how it plays out. But if I had to guess, my prediction, it'll be Wayne 1, Ware 2, BC 3, Perry 4.
All right. Well, how's your brackets looking there, Bob?
Not too bad. 11 to 16 teams in. Still got the Final 4 still in. But I'm catching a lot of grief from my Georgia. Man, they gave me hell Saturday at the golf course.
I bet they did.
You picked who?
You gone over the dark side?
Have you lost your mind? I told them it's all about winning. You got to win. Duke's the odds-on favorite. And I got Duke and Florida in the championship game, but I got Florida beating Duke. So What's that place? Florida almost got beat this
They
past
did,
weekend.
didn't
Yeah, UConn, the two-time defending champion, gave them everything they wanted. So I was like, man, the Bob Morgan jinx is working already. So. But yeah, Saturday at golf, I was catching it from all my Georgia fans. They thought I'd lost my mind.
Well,
Which
you
I
maybe
said,
didn't
I
lose.
basically lost my mind just trying to win.
Yeah, back when Georgia and so used to saying Georgia, back when Florida and Auburn played their last regular season game in February, Florida won 90-81. Now, Auburn was ranked number 1 in the entire bracket going in, but Florida defeated Auburn by 9 points in that last game they played during the regular season.
It's good to see 7. Like I said, 14 teams got in, 7 are still alive in the Sweet 16. I was just proud I had the upset. I had Arkansas beating St. John's, and Arkansas beat St. John's, so that's helped my bracket some. So.
That did help, didn't it?
But like I said, it's basically going chalk. Like I said, all 4 teams are still in. 3 of the number 2 seeds are still alive as well. So, but it'll be interesting to see how many of the SEC teams get to the Final Four. It will be an all-SEC final, and time will tell.
Okay. Unless it can get that way. But, so far, not too major upsets. The St. John's, Arkansas was probably the biggest upset there, and everything else kind of going as planned. And they start back today?
No, Thursday.
Thursday.
It starts back
Okay.
Thursday.
Back
They'll
Thursday.
have down to the Final Four after Sunday.
All right.
That game's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By the end of the weekend, they'll have it down to the Final Four. So.
Okay. And in the women's bracket, UConn, they won 2 years in a row now, has got beat by Florida in the ladies' side. So an SEC team defeated the SEC team. Florida defeated UConn in the women's bracket. So go SEC. UConn not going for a three-peat. They're out. And a lot of folks thought that because they're just not as strong this year as they have been in the past. But South Carolina made it. You're always used to South Carolina ladies basketball doing very well, and so still some good SEC teams there in the ladies bracket.
Yeah. That's fun to watch as well. They play good basketball.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. All right, what else is going on, Bob?
I don't know.
Did you say there was a fatal accident overnight?
In Long County, 3 o'clock this morning, there was a single vehicle accident in Long County. Woman crashed her car, overturned, got thrown out of the vehicle. So, Georgia State Patrol is still working on Tibet Road in Long County. Happened early this morning, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock in the morning, fatal accident in Long County. Please, folks, wear your seatbelts. They make those cars to say everything to kind of crush around you to protect you in that driver's seat there.
Makes
you have a
difference.
better chance, not 100%, but a better chance of staying alive if you put that seatbelt on.
Definitely makes a difference, that's for sure.
Then you tell me what some state patrol person told
John
you years
Hammock,
ago.
John Hammock, remember the poster? They had John Hammock on the poster.
Oh, yeah. Intimidating
Right,
picture,
yeah. I mean, that poster's famous. But anyway, he told me that, in all the years he worked as a Georgia State Patrolman, if he came up on an accident, if the person had a seatbelt on, they were still alive. They may die later when they get to the hospital, but they were always alive when they got to the scene of the accident. But if you don't wear your seatbelt and get thrown out like that lady does, the chance of survival is not very good. So
Well, you become a projectile.
That always stuck with me. So I always wear my seatbelt.
I've been wearing it. It's been a while since like the late '80s, mid '80s, somewhere along there. I was in South Carolina, in Aiken, South Carolina. We were running the radio stations there, and I was a member of a civic club up there, and we had a lot of older guys in there, which would be my age now. Back then, I was in my 20s and 30s. At that time, I would have been in my 30s. And some of the older guys that were in their 60s and 70s that were in the civic club just said they've been driving all their lives without seatbelts, that the government's not going to tell them what to do inside their vehicle, and they still drove without their seatbelts, even though it became South Carolina law. We've been wearing seatbelts for so long that it just, you don't feel right, when you don't have it on.
Who was the old Georgia representative had a farm. Didn't want to. He was against seatbelts.
Well,
what was that guy's name?
he was the
he fought it. For
he's Speaker of the
years.
House for years.
He
Oh,
despised. God. He didn't want seatbelts.
Well, he had the law passed where you didn't have to wear it in trucks because he didn't want to put it on his truck on his farm.
That's what it was.
Right.
I can't remember that guy.
And he was Speaker of the House for years and years and years, and his district. So many people moved into his district that were Republican that he eventually was voted out. But he was Speaker of the House for years. I mean, I could hear him here in that southern accent, sine die on the last day, Oh, jeez. Someone said that Donnie Ray's been purchasing tickets since the raffle started, so I guess he's gotten his investment back because they've been selling the $10,000 tickets for a long time.
Where's Mike?
Yeah, Bob, you don't win anything. You've been buying since the beginning.
If that's the reason, then I should have won. Why didn't I win?
You think that law of averages that you would have it by now? God, what was the speaker's name for all those years? He was a Democrat. He was up from the northern part of the state. He had a big farm, and he did not want seatbelt pass laws where if you were in trucks because he had a pickup truck, Right. But if anybody knows that, you can text that answer in to 912-427-3711. What was the Democratic Speaker of the House who was just adamant against seatbelts, and so he had it passed where you didn't have to wear it in a truck. So 912-427-3711, if you can remember that Speaker of the House's name that was Speaker for a long time. Long time. And he was elected out. He was voted out. It wasn't like he retired. It's just his district became more Republican. I just cannot remember his name. If someone said it, I'd say, "Oh yeah, that's it." Yeah, I'd know right off the bat if someone texted in or if someone told me, I'd say, "Oh yeah, that's it. That's it." And speaking of the representatives, you got the legislative session still going on. We don't have Representative Stephen Meeks on this morning because he had a meeting at 8 o'clock because they've got this week and next week, and they'll finish up on the 4th, and so that'll be it. So they're getting Tom Murphy. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, Tom Murphy. That's it. So I knew as soon as someone said it, I know what it is.
I had Tom in my kids. I just couldn't get to the last
Tom
name.
Murphy. Yeah, he was Speaker of the House for a long time.
Yeah, but he used to be. I used to love watching. Hey, I'm not wearing this.
He was like those guys in the Civic Club up there. He was older. He
grew
up not having seatbelts on. And the government was not going to tell him what they could do in his own vehicle.
Nobody's telling me what to do in my own vehicle. I can hear him now.
Yes, sir.
He'd get on that rant like, "Don't be telling me I got to wear a seatbelt on my farm. No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah, Tom Murphy. That was it, Tom Murphy. Yeah. He was a character.
He was.
Yep. But the legislative session going on, they'll be finish up on Friday week from now, and hopefully we'll have Blake Tillery on Tuesdays with Tillery tomorrow. Hopefully he won't have a meeting. I know as you get toward the deadline, it becomes busier and busier and busier. Because nothing ever gets done unless there's a deadline date set.
And reminder, we got Braves baseball. Braves are like a mess. They're trying to get some of their players back. Again, Ronald Acuna, they say, is going to be back hopefully in mid-April. So that'll be a nice addition to that Atlanta Braves lineup.
And what position does he play?
He's in the outfield. He's their star player. Ronald Acuna Jr. I said he tore that. He lost him for the entire season last year or so. Need to get him back in that lineup.
All right.
Steals a lot of bases, hits for average, hits home runs. He's fun to watch. So, and Spencer Strider's still rehabbing. They said he'll be back in mid-April as well in that pitching rotation. So I said they've just been having a rash of injuries, but season starts on Thursday in San Diego.
I just you hear maybe we didn't pay attention to the injuries like we used to, but it just seems like there's more injuries in professional sports now than they were back in the 80s, 70s, and 60s. I could be wrong. Maybe I just didn't pay attention to them back then, but it seems like you have so many injuries today, especially when you think about baseball and basketball and stuff like that. Football you kind of expect it, but still, you see some of those starters out there all season long. But today, the teams have to think about what injuries we're going to have. We're going to have this X many people out. This is what the analytics say. We're going to have this many people out. This is how we've got to do. You got to think about those injuries, and it just seems like there's so many injuries. today than they were, let's say, 30, 40, 50 years ago. But like I said, I could be wrong. I just maybe didn't pay attention to them. Anything else in your mind this morning, Bob?
No, that's about it. Just
That's it?
Ready for baseball. Just kick in Thursday. It should be fun.
Yep.
Pittsburgh's in first place till Friday.
That's right. The Braves right here on WIFO 105.5 FM begin their 2025 season right here on Big Dog Country Radio. And this is our 55th season of carrying Braves baseball, 55 years in a row. We started in 1971. Generations of Southeast Georgians have listened to Braves baseball right here on 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country, WIFO. We'll start this Thursday at 3 o'clock with the leadoff show and first pitch at 4:10. Braves at San Diego. Braves baseball all season long right here on 105.5 FM. Coming up soon, you'll have a chance to win a Wild Adventure ticket voucher, good for 4 one-day admissions to Wild Adventures Park, so keep tuned in for your chance to win. And the world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by First Southern Bank, Murphy Builder Supply, the Service Department at GNS Auto Sales, and also brought to you by Heron Aldridge Insurance.